Yeah, it's running. Yeah. Whew. Hi friends. This April 26 is a nightmare for me because first my lathe motor broke. I'm just waiting for a new capacitor. Let's see. Maybe it's okay. I'm trying to put in a Chinese motor, but yeah. Second one and worst case for me was that the spindle of my new mill from HBM got cracks. I'll show it to you later, but I have to rebuild the old spindle. It took me hours, and I'll bring you in. Your mill don't have to look like this when it's got only some hours on it. I stripped it all, but HBM got very good support. They sent me a new spindle, and I brought in all the new bearings, and yeah, I have to push it in again tomorrow. But that took me hours and was no fun, as you can see in the next videos. And see, the light is lit. Yeah, and I don't know how to explain it. If you got a 30 or 40-year-old mill, it's okay when something breaks. If you got a 3-month-old mill, it's very hard to take it apart completely. But so you learn how your tools work. And yeah, I learned the hard way. So I have to put this thing together again. Yeah, got all the parts here, and I know now where they have to stick. And yeah, the biggest thing was the spindle, but as I said, HBM service was really great. No questions. I sent them photos and they agreed and said, all right, you got a failure. And it took about not a week, maybe 5 days, 6 days, and I got my new spindle. So that's a great support, I think. And so yeah, I'll show you the next minutes how this went on. Yeah, this April 26 was a nightmare for this shop. The motor of my lathe broke. Just waiting for a new capacitor, and a few days later I discovered something in my new mill. I can't believe it. This is the main spindle, just the chuck in it, and as you can see in the upper part something is missing, and yeah, this part was loose. There are more cracks. You can see it, maybe not in here, going down. Here's another crack, maybe you can see it from the inside. Here it's loose. I want to clean it after a job, and I took off this screw, and when I want to put it back on, I can't believe it won't go on, and I saw the cracks. I don't know how this could happen, because this screw was always on, and if you hammer on the rod to get your mouse taper out, you never hammer on the spindle or something in the near. So yeah, I suppose it was a factory fault that was in here all the time. But HBM, thumbs up. I called them, the support, and they sent me a replacement part with a new head cap that fits, and yeah, but I can't bring the 150 kilo mill in, so I told them I only wanted the spindle new. So yeah, and there's a new screw in the package, the head nut, the spindle, and the screw who pushes down the upper ball bearing or needle bearing, whatever you call it. And this one I could press off but not on, so I was in a local machine shop, the last machine shop in our area. I just thought about the topper machine, yeah, and they induction heated it and pressed it on for me for $5, 5 minutes. I was very, very glad to have the guys around, because how will I, in my small shop, put on this bearing again? Maybe hammering it with a rod? No, that will distort all the parts, or this part. So I bring this back in my mill. It was, I think, 2 or 3 hours to get all the parts out. You can see here I got the greasy spring from above and all the side parts from the lever and so on. You have to pull it all out, and yeah, you can see everything is torn apart. And so I will bring it back in. It's not that rocket science. I just have to put it in the sleeve, put on the bearing again. This one I can press. This is much more easier than the bigger one, and tighten the nut on it. Then it will go, if it's in this sleeve again, it's going in this way. I can put it back in the mill, and I'm happy again. But yeah, what a freaking April. Yeah, but you have to fix your parts. So what? Okay, let's go on assembling this. I got this liquid-moly grease. It's for bearings and so on. So it's a nasty black stuff, but the blue Chinese stuff in there wasn't any better. So I give it a very good part of this grease. And then the other side, because through the heating with the induction, it's some of the grease left the building. But I think it's not the problem. It's still moving great, but never know. All right, back to the, just cleaned it. You see the roller path. It's grooved for the grease. So let's put it in as much as it's possible. Right, and this will be closed with this nut, and I bought a spanner for it. didn't have one, so yeah, all right. On with the body count. On with the body count. Okay. So, greased all this. We're putting the sleeve back on. Can you see? Here's the bearing. It sits nicely. Turns. And now we have to get in the ring again. But over at the vise, because I can't hold this. And then we have to put in this gear from above. And that's tightened with this nut. It's not that fancy task. All right. I think doing it the first time. Didn't want to do it. All right. Let's see. I'll bring the back when I'm back from the vise. So yeah, because I got no lathe. Yeah, the lathe is down. The mill is down. Fuck. So yeah, I made this aluminium part, sawed it with a hole saw and sawed it with a hole saw. So I got a ring, yeah, and you can see the marks with a transfer punch. I can make really, yeah, and then I can take some screws to it to make something to clamp this, because I have to get deep in my spindle bearing or spindle housing. I don't know how to call it. Yeah, but yeah, and this I hope it will get it done. So let's drill some holes in here, make some long screws, and I can put it in, because I got no clamping device to push this screw. And you know, as you can see, it's got these 3 holes. That's what it clamps together and won't go out. But I have to bring the bearing down, and so yeah, let's go to the other workbench. So as you can see, is the screw that will go over this column and tighten this bearing close in this one. But yeah, it's going deep into there. So I made, as I showed you, this one. Just have to drill it and then get a nice covering. We can file out the other parts to make it turn. It's got enough clearance, and yeah, maybe that's the way we can push this bearing down in there. This one on top, and then this one. And yeah, maybe, because yeah, make tools to make tools to make tools. You know it. That's it. Nice ring. Let's see. What a mess. So let's see, we got M5. Yes, M5, and but these ones are not long enough, but I got other options. Let's see. So for M5 we have to drill 4.2, and that's what we're putting in. Close it, runs true, and now, yeah. Let's bring in, oh, where are my marks? Yeah. It's not rocket science, but we have to be a little bit of straight. Yeah. So, freshly drilled hole. Just some chamfers. Yeah. And now let's do some M5. Here's a part. Just slightly balance it. It's not too crooked. And we got a M5 setter set. Yeah, that's why was my compressor. So maybe I take this. Just to make some nice holes. As I said, this is not for beauty, this is for function. And we can take the rest off with a grinder. Alright, now we got ourselves a kind of jig that will settle in. Bring it around. I have to go with this part deep into my column device, and yeah, we made this jig and we can pull it all the way down. And it's, yeah, it's rugged. All right. Let's see if it works. So, yeah, this is the jig, and just so this one has to press in the bearing about 10 millimeters deep. So to stay above the column, just slightly, yeah, I have to, yeah, whatever. I have to clamp it in a vise, and as you can see, this movement has to go away. That's about 10 or 11 millimeters, and I have to screw it in. I have to shorten the screws a little bit to take the torque off it and make some flats here to get it with a wrench. We see. Okay, we are back here. Just shortened the screws, and now we maybe couldn't bring them in. Just about this 11 or 12 millimeters, and we got a little bit more to have something to grab on. Okay. So, where is my big wrench? We have to make some flats on this. All right. Would be nice to have a mill or maybe a lathe, but we don't have. So let's take some, yeah, as you can see, this one on this, and then pure power, maybe. So don't do with the file. You can see here's our flattening edges. Just push back my parts and just take a saw. So this will take a while. Bring it back when we're done. Yeah, we have to fight it a little bit, but we're done. And yeah, that's enough for some clamping, I hope. Okay, get you back when it's cooled down. So I don't want to overcomplicate it. Just take off some sharp edges, because this one is way off. See? Yeah. It's a device. Or a jack. Or yeah. I hope it will work. So, new time. So, got my spindle in the vise and see if the plan works out. Pressing in this type of bearing. So the question is, do we get play? And we got no play. Right. Whew. That was no fun at all. Just tighten it. The last step before my jig is bent too much. Yeah, I think it worked out. And now these are on its bearings again, and hoo-ha! That was no fun. No fun at all. But yeah, put it on the floor, gravity again. Yeah, but got my bearings in again with this fancy little feature, and yeah, it worked out nice. Yeah, all right. Whew. That's enough for the day, I think. Tomorrow, spindle goes back in the middle. There. And we'll see. Thank you.